Hello, this is Vulturefire, and this is episode 1 of a new series. It's intended to be seen by new players, so this is quite likely one of the first videos of mine you are seeing. The goal here is to try doing some runs by building decks with cards that new players are going to have access to, using low-level heroes and not a full forge and not using the market, etc. So, setup notes on where the account is at. I have completed these 5 quests, which are the 5 quests that only require you to do depth 1 and 2 runs. So I haven't done Lost Warrior, I haven't done Brightest Flame. I do have Catan unlocked because of a quirk of this being based on an older save. But I haven't actually done the quest, so I don't have access to the cards. I don't have access to the cards or the trinket from Brightest Flame. So, that's important to note. For my Forge, I have 1 rank of Arcane Connectivity, 1 rank of Lightweight Materials, 2 ranks for Generative Harness, 2 ranks for Reinforced Outfits, and both ranks of Astral Spyglass. I have cheated this account to have a ton of money. I could buy more if I wanted to, but the point is that this is a Forge that you could realistically have fairly quickly. I have bought 1 Market Stall, but I plan to not use it most of the time. I have the Shrine fully unlocked, but I'm planning to do just regular depth 3 runs, which is a change from most of the other videos I've recorded recently. But I figure newer players, the Shrine is very much an advanced thing, and this is intended to help you if you are kind of struggling with depth 3, sort of show routes through that. I have opened several packs, and specifically, so the way that packs and Breach Wanderers work is that the generic cards are divided into tiers, and this isn't listed in-game. You can see it on the wiki if you're curious, but the gist of it is you will see all the cards in tier 1 before you start seeing cards in tier 2, and they're kind of grouped based on a combination of complexity and theme. So the idea is that all of the burn cards are in the same tier, so that once you start opening burn cards, you'll see other burn cards go with them, so you won't have this experience that you used to have before the tier system was implemented, where you'd open a burn card in your first pack and then you wouldn't see any more support for 15 more packs. So I have the cards that are unlocked by default. I have the cards for these 5 quests, and then I have the tier 1 cards. And there are 2 cards that are not tier 1 unlocks that I'm not going to be using, and those cards are Sorcerer's Secretion and Morbid Overture. So I'm not using those on purpose because I'm pretending I don't have them. But we're going to start with Raodan. So I'm going to start with a fresh slate. And I think I'm probably going to do a pretty straightforward triple status build is my plan here. One note is I am level 4, so I do have access to this second passive. And that's kind of why I chose level 4, is because that is a low enough level that you can get here very easily and very quickly. But it's a high enough level I do have access to at least the second passive, which is really relevant on a lot of characters. So, as far as cards go, with Raodan, one of the notes here is that we obviously need a way to actually deal damage. And I think Ice Blast is probably going to be one of our ways to deal damage. We also have Visions of Frost. I tend to really like Visions of Frost because you can just hold it in your hand until you need it. Invigorate is also maybe. I'm curious what our shock options are. I don't think we have. Okay, we do not have Overcharge yet. What are our arcane options? All right. So we're relatively limited on what we can do with triple status right now, which is a little unfortunate. I'm okay still running 1 Infuse. I tend to find Infuse pretty good. For mana, we are going to go with 2 Focuses and probably 2 Mana Shields. Defensive Field is a card that I would usually run if I was fighting idols, but we're not fighting idols, so I don't know that I need it. I might take a Crumbling Defense. Trying to think how are we going to deal damage. So when you're putting together a deck, you kind of have 2 main questions that you're going to answer. The first is, how am I going to kill enemies? And the second is, how am I going to keep enemies from killing me? You can have the answer to the first question, or the answer to how do I keep enemies from killing me be, they're going to be dead before they can do anything to me. But I don't think that's where we're going here. We don't otherwise have access to mana boost, which makes this very tempting. Adapted Mana Booster are both pretty good on Raodan. The growth is less relevant because Raodan is already going to be doing status effects to get whatever up. I do kind of like having those over the Mana Shields. So Haunted Memories is a card that does a lot of things. The most important note here is it can be mana if you need mana, but it can also set up debuffs if you don't need mana, which is a very good balance to have. We do not have my Precious Pocket Sand unlocked yet. That's a later unlock. We are going to need more damage sources. We could go Rise of Winter, but I don't think I want to try and run that. I think we're going to do that. And then, I'm deciding what else I want to do here. I don't think we can make Precise Blast work with this list. I could just go a second Ice Blast. They scale poorly into bosses. Could also just go like one more mana card. We have a pretty expensive top end, so I think we can justify. And Chilling Focus is pretty good. So Chilling Focus on its own is not amazing, but it scales up really well if you have any ways to gain non-temporary powerful, or if you have any ways to get other things. Sorry, my brain, as usual, has just kind of wandered off. It scales very well with non-temporary powerful. It scales it very well to get any items that are plus status. And so both of those make it very good, which you may or may not see here. Going to yeet the deck. So Mana Eruption is amazing. You gain 2 mana, gain mana equal 50% of your max mana. Raodan gets tons of growth, so that's going to be great. Frost Fracture is going to apply a ton of Crystallize. Flash Freeze is probably good. So the trick with it is it doesn't do anything if the enemy has some amount of frost, but not enough to be frozen. We have Runic Blast and Unstable Blast, both of which can be very good, but I don't know that we have enough stuff to support them. Arcane Silence is Area of Effect Arcane, which is just good. Legendary Strike is just good. Blizzard and Flood of Insight are just good. Blizzard is AoE freeze. Flood of Insight is lots of draw. Singularity tends to be good, and we could try and just have enough mana to play Singularity, which I think is a reasonable place to be at. Like Raodan tends to be pretty happy with having lots of mana. Ether Storm is a card that we would include if we were planning to fight Ether Planes, because this would let us fight Drakes. Because this is how this will strip a ton of evasion off of Drakes, and then you don't have to worry about that. Because otherwise we have a lot of like single hits, which are not going to do as well. Because I don't really think I care about fighting Drakes. I think I am going to try Flash Freeze. I'm not totally certain. I haven't tried it a ton, so we'll see how it goes. As far as non-epic cards go, Mana Blast is amazing. Icy Concentration is amazing. Icy Chains is amazing. So this is just a good mana card. Mana Blast can do a ton of damage on Raodan because you just scale up so quick. Icy Chains scales up on Frost and can do a lot of Frost. Cold Fate tends to be good. The growth is less relevant on Raodan, but having the fact that it flips into card draw is pretty okay. I tend to like Mind Seed less on Raodan just because we don't necessarily need it. Arcane Focus is great. Contemplate is great because just draw. Mental Growth I don't think we need. Frozen Rift is good. I think Last Resort could be good. So Frozen Rift does Area of Effect Frost. So we're kind of looking for a mix of things that kind of complement our main theme. So I want a certain amount of mana, so I can keep doing that. And then I want things that will help us with freezing, things that will help us with things that will help us draw cards so we keep doing stuff. And then some support cards that will help us finish out or help us manage survivability issues. So Shatter is good. We just immediately draw it whenever an enemy becomes frozen, which is great. Mind Blast I go back and forth on. It's theoretically good, but I have been kind of underwhelmed a lot. I find that it scales pretty slowly. Mana Barrier is probably a good shield card. I want to make Crystal Blast work, but I don't know that we have the support for it right now. Sanctuary is amazing. We'll cover that when it becomes relevant. Ritual of Runes should be good. Arcane Nova is usually good. It's not going to be made for Magic Spores. It's another Area of Effect Arcane. If we're not fighting Idols, it's probably good. Crystal Blast, I just don't know, like I said, that I can set it up. It is very good if we can set it up, but I don't know that we can. I think I'm fine with having Mana Barrier. All-Seeing Eye, I have found a little underwhelming in decks like this where we're just going to have way too much. We're just not going to have enough mana. I don't love Revelation, but we may take it. Cleansing Shield is fine. Power Surge is okay. It's not something like we really, really care about, but it's fine. We do have enough cards to stack the Care About Growth that I'm willing to take the Mind Seed. I think Weary Concentration is another card that I'm not the hugest fan of, but it is 4-mana Fatigue 1. And then I think to finish things off, I probably want... Actually, having the Stone Skin could be good if we end up... Because we are playing a kind of defensive game. I don't think we have... Yeah, we just have no ways to apply Shock in Tier 1, unfortunately. And so that's going to be our deck. So, with that out of the way, let's actually start the run. It's been a while since I've played, Depth 3. The last time I did was for the quests. So, we're not doing the Shrine, not doing the Market. One of the things when you're starting to run, one of the first choices you have to make is which areas are you fighting? And for Raodan, I tend to go this route. And the reason why is that Mushroom Forest has a lot of cards that are great for status. There are lots of cards here that are good, Giant Lore Blossoms drop an amazing arcane card called Curse of the Forest. There are 2 mid-bosses here, one of which is, or there are 3 mid-bosses here, 2 of which are status-based. One is the arcane-based Vessel of Knowledge, and the other is the shock-based Vessel of Impulse. There are Red Blossoms and Lore Blossoms, both of which drop cards we want. Several Elites drop cards we want. Meanwhile, Battery Ramparts seems to be better if you're an aggressive or strike-focused deck. There is the Icy Gale Weather here, so there's a consideration that we might want to try Ramparts. But this boss gives us the ton we want, and Soothing Skies is also pretty okay. Not as good as Icy Gale, but it's still fine, so we're going to go here. Crystal Valley tends to be good for status-based decks. It has several cards that are good for applying status, and Wraith Prism specifically does drop a card that will be good for us. Emerald Dragon Form's not the card it used to be. Wildstorm's pretty good, but I think overall just we get more out of Crystal Valley. It is worth noting, we are going to be fighting Baelator in Area 3. Baelator hits very hard. We are going to want to... That does mean that we will potentially want to pick up Evasion if we don't think we're going to be able to get through Baelator starting Purity in time to freeze it. But our backup plan, of course, is to just eat the damage if we end up being aggressive enough that we can just eat a turn or two of Baelator damage, as long as we have enough health going into the fight. So we'll talk more about that as we get through the run. And I'm going to do my best to try and remember that I am doing this as a kind of teaching run, but I may forget and start just kind of autopiloting at some point, so we'll see how it goes. So when you're first looking at the area, you want to choose a route. And that can be, there's a lot of factors to consider. So right now, the main factors I'm considering are that this route would give us 3 events. A1 events can be good, but there are also several forced events that include fights that are annoying. But there are also, especially post-mid-boss, you can get the Giant Red Blossom event, which is very, very good. It has a free upgrade, and an elite fight that can drop an epic card reward, which is nice. We could go this route. This card's okay, and this card is pretty good. And then that would also let us fight. So these are Red Blossoms, these are Lore Blossoms. Red Blossoms drop Scarlet Incantation and Arcane Ablution. Arcane Ablution is a lot more valuable if we are fighting Idols, because a Cleanse becomes more valuable, or if we're fighting Hollow Maw in Area 3. But Scarlet Incantation is a great way to stack Powerful. Corrupted Blast is basically irrelevant, but Arcane Aegis is a good source of Arcane that also gives us a good amount of shield. And that would also let us take Soothing Skies cards potentially here, like Invigorating Sunlight. And so if you're new to the game, the reason I can see all these cards is because I have the Spyglass upgrade. If you have the Spyglass Tier 2, you see all of the cards that can drop from the fight. This is not technically new information. If you have Tier 1, you'll only see the information over here, which if you know enough about the game, you could see, oh, this is Red Blossom, this is a Lore Blossom. I know these are the Red Blossom cards, I know these are the Lore Blossom cards, so I don't need to see them here to know what I could get from this fight. But having the Tier 2 especially makes it easier when I'm talking about it for a video to explain to you what's going on. So if we go up this route, we can get a Shocking Grasp, which is a very, very good way to apply shock, especially since we don't have other options. And then both of these cards are very good, which makes this a a good mid-boss where it's like, this card's fine, but I don't think either of them are as valuable to us as these two would be. We only get one post mid-boss event, but we do also get a chance at getting a mana dance, which would be great against Bay later. So I think I'm going to go left. And so we'll at least also give extra rewards, which is nice, and we get 3 elites on this route versus only 1 on this route. But there's also very much an argument to be made that you just go like this route, you take 4 events, you potentially skip a lot of fights, and you save a lot of time. Depends on how you want to play out the run. And this is a deck that has been completely untried, so we will see how this goes. Oh, my sound's completely off. Let me. That should be fine. We took some hits while we were deliberating. I think I'm just going to get Curse out. I don't know how much it's going to do for us, but just go ahead and ice up both of them so they don't get a turn. We can re-ice one of them. How much damage is that? Not enough. So here's the plan. Pop off your powerful. Not that it matters because we are just going to follow up and kill. So the nice thing about Thornberries is they only attack every other turn. And so here we're actually in a good position to just end turn, get the heal from the Invigorate, and then get the kill off the Curse. And our deck is basically working right now. Ritual of Runes seems good. It gives us a way to scale over the course of a fight. It only scales our damage, though, not our status applied, which can be a problem since we are relying pretty heavily on freezing right now. It's worth doing this because we are going to eat enough damage here that the shield is going to matter. I don't love our starting deck. The reason I'm just playing the Curse is because I don't plan to play enough cards right now to get value out of the Arcane Link. Although it does also apply a weak, which... my goal is, yeah, to just kill you outright. Alright, we can get Mighty by playing that first. And we are unfortunately 1 card away from getting the Arcane Detonation here, but that thing is super duper frozen, so it doesn't matter. Pop. Okay, Frozen Rift I think is the card we want here. Sanctuary is good, but I think it's more of a card that we would want later. And Hardened Shell is not really a card that fits our theme. Probably not going to take either of the monster cards here, I think. I'm going to get Weak out on that. And then... I'm okay with this guy getting to do that this turn, which is why I didn't freeze it. This is the turn that I would like to freeze it, but unfortunately I do not have a choice. And now if we can get any curse on that one, it will just kill it. So the bleed here is why I didn't want that guy to get this turn. I think I'm willing to eat the extra health loss here to do that. We do have the healing in the deck, which does make... The nice thing about Drain Life is like it gives us a little bit of a buffer on health, as so does Invigorate. I probably just don't need both Invigorate and whatever now that I think about it. Contemplates card draw. Card draw is great. Lets us do more with our turns. And then Frozen Rift Plus, like this upgrade is incredible. It's going to make it a lot more consistent at applying Frost. We do not have a reroll token, which means that there's a chance that we just end up with a Conductive Bolt, which is useless to us here. But basically 50-50 chance regardless of which direction we go, and this gives us a chance at like earning an upgrade token from the fight itself. I'm just gonna do that and that. And you see, Crumbling Defense, like we're only ever drawing it like twice a fight right now, which means that there's a very, very low cost to playing it. All right, we are now looking at a lot of damage incoming. We're going to do this. I think we're actually just going to take the mana so that we can do that and get the kill. Shocking Grasp is amazing. You'll see why as the run goes on. This is very good with Raodan because if you treat the opportunity attack of a frozen enemy, it just doesn't get to do anything except be sad. And we are in favor of our enemies being sad. Removing cards is usually something you want to do. You should figure out which card is doing the least for you and then cut it. I think Infuse is probably our weakest link right now. It's not bad, but I think it's our weakest link. I will happily take whichever boss card drops here. I think Blizzard is the only other card that I would be interested in taking here. Guess we can do that. Get Curse out. So the main advantage of that Rune Heart is that we do now have Powerful for the rest of the fight. Yeah, I want to get the shock out, but I also just want to do this because it's going to do 30 damage. Arcane does 5 more damage on frozen targets and 5 more damage on shock targets up to a max, which is a max of, yes, 20 damage on a frozen and shock target, which is pretty good. And we can just do a bunch of damage by punching a shocked thing in the face. The force mid bosses are currently really weak relative to the Ramparts mid bosses. That may change in the future. We'll see. But like, this boss has done less to us, I think, in the first several turns than any of the fights before this. All right. Bye. Delayed burst. I like. That's good. I also kind of like to upgrade it, but I don't think, because we have that other thing, I don't think we need to upgrade it. Shocking Grasp Plus would be good. Upgrades here are a little questionable just because, like, we have a lot of okay upgrades. I think this is just way more, I think the reliability upgrade from bumping that is worth it. And I think we're just going to move on for now. Yeah, and just like, none of them get turns. And then that's just going to do a bunch of AoE damage. We could have played it, but I figured it was doing enough damage normally that we didn't need to. That's just going to outright kill that, so there's no point in freezing that. Look at all that delicious growth. You don't need a turn, and neither do you. I put the curse on that because that was the one that I was afraid about actually getting to do stuff, but turns out I didn't need to worry. Doing stuff is just not going to get done, is the point. And that's going to do good damage. You're going to die to curse. And now we just have one more enemy to kill. Crumbling defenses may be able to go at this point. This unfortunately does not quite freeze. Like and then bye. I think the Power Surge probably. And then like Cloud of Sarah is just not doing anything for us, really. Like you do get Stark Life Lamp, which is like 12% extra, but it's kind of whatever. Whereas Cryo Flask is great as a backup emergency button. I think we're fine removing card. We are going to cut the Crumbling Defenses. I don't think we need it. It is our only way to generate shield. We are going to regret this. It'll be fine. No, it's not. We have the Invigorate. That's right. That'll generate shield. That's obviously the play. I think we're going to get enough out of this time. Although I can't actually play both of these. I don't know what I was thinking. I should have pitched this because I can't actually use. Oh, it's fine. If you trip this, then you're going to explode, but I don't think that's worth it. And then, yeah, just get that extra powerful out. So we are now at a total of however much powerful. Look, counting is hard. Math is hard. Should be outlawed as far as I'm concerned. That's absolutely just going to dumpster you. Goodbye. And the nice thing here is this is going to deal with one of the evasion for us. I don't want to do this, though, I think. Oh. Goodbye. It's not really the one we're looking for, but we'll take it. Will we? Yeah. It does have the problem of eating our shocked, but the evasion is going to be really nice in a few fights. Don't really care right this moment. Just getting out that weak. Yeah, don't really want to do that. So we don't have any AoE stuff for these guys, which is a little unfortunate. Not any good AoE stuff anyway. Which means this could be kind of a nightmare of a fight. But we do have this, which is going to be great for like solving individual problems. Like you're gone now. And we are going to explode here, but I don't want to lose my powerful, so you're just going to go on ice. Probably unnecessary, but... There's definitely an argument to be made to not start killing them until we've got plans for all of them so they stop, so they can't just stack up stuff and ruin our day. But, sounds dangerously like planning. So the reason that I did things the way I did is that we can get that one ring of evasion here, which means that this guy's not going to do anything. He's going to just insta-kill whatever we pointed at. Okay, so we're going to need a little bit of damage here, but I think it's totally worth it. We could draw this fight out to heal the last little bit of health, but it's not worth it. There's that kill. Very happy with that. Oh man, these choices. So what I want to do is reroll and take Curse of the Forest. I think that's what I'm going to do, because I think this is just so good. But like, oh man, all of these are great. So many good cards. We don't need that. We'll take Unstable. Unstable Concoction is kind of nothing, but we'll take it. This is a pretty good upgrade. You get to corrupt a whole bunch of times. You can do a bunch of Curse. This card is going to do a lot of damage. It may not look like much on the surface, but I assure you, it's going to be devastating. Famous last words, right? Okay, so kind of inclined towards just taking events here, I think. If we go up this route, we get 1 elite. We don't have to deal with the... This weather doesn't give us... Well, this would help us against Baya later. This card doesn't really do much for us. This card's okay. But I found it a little underwhelming. I do like Spectral Focus. We don't have any cleanse, though, and I don't think we need the Spectral Focus. This would also be very good against Baya later, though. So let's start here and get the evasion card there. And get that evasion card. Goodbye. Fortunately, we cannot afford to play cards in our hand. Maybe we do need more mana. We're fine once we get rolling, but our initial state is a little sad. Pop and pop. Should have done that. Would have won us the game with the burn tech. Alright. Boom. See, look, we did 6 damage. That was worth the 8 mana. Alright, this is the card we're looking for. Although this is incredible. Oh man, the hard choices. This is much better against Baya later, but this is going to be better in every other fight. So we're just going to take the card that's better in every other fight. Which could be incorrect. We'll see. Okay, this event. There's no tail, so it's not blue. There's not a little golden ring under this, so it's not red. There's not a bulge, so it's not orange. Which leaves it one of these two, which are the hardest ones to spot. There's a little black cracks that you can see here, so it's black. If there were little legs on these guys, it would be green. So it's the purple vein. And we're going to continue safely. I think we're going to go here. I don't think we want either of the cards that these guys drop, but... Let's see what we get out of that. Problem is, there are things that I want to do that are kind of mutually exclusive. We can actually eat this damage and it's fine. So we're going to. Oh, whoops, that wasted the... I didn't think about that wasting the shock. Well, now I feel kind of silly. Go do that. Freeze you. Do this to get growth and then just kill that jerk. Alright, then we get treasures because... Hopefully we'll find some healing here, but it's not terrible if we don't. Although, if it's not going to threaten us, we may as well just like let it get the turn. Yeah, that'll heal us a little bit. Not all the way, but a little bit. I think the Drain Life is still worth keeping. Shatter's pretty good. Status Supply plus 30% is amazing. Absolutely, we will take that. And then here we go to the event. Alright. So this one, there are 3 options. One of them is Giant is bored, in which case you have shiny crystals. One of it is Giant is in pain, in which case you inspect it closer. And this is the third one, which is Giant is not doing anything. It's asleep. We're going to scare it. So it wakes up and it leaves. And we get a Stunning Nap. Which is a card that is normally good, but not necessarily what we want. Just ice out all of them. I should have done that first before I did. Okay. We're probably going to want mana out of that. So the thing is, I really want this guy frozen so that he doesn't give out the debuff that he gives out. But I also really want to do this, which is why I didn't use Visions of Frost. Or I want him to give out Purity to all of his buds. Because Purity prevents us from applying debuffs, and we really want to be able to apply debuffs. So part of playing Raodan is like, especially with the Visions of Frost, it's just like learning enemy movesets and knowing which things you want to freeze. Not enough damage. Oh, that wasn't enough to freeze. I'm dumb. So I get for not checking. This is still going to die, but we are going to take a little bit of damage here. Oh, it isn't going to die. Just kidding, because it got shield. Duh. You know, if you look at what the enemies are doing, it'll tell you what they're doing. And we did indeed get value out of Stony Nap. Alright, in this turn they are all buffing. I don't want to waste the shock on all of them, so I'm just going to do that. Okay, so we don't have enough to do everything. We're going to do that, which is going to corrupt you a bunch. Should have done it on that one. Okay. That worked out pretty okay. Everything's fine, completely calculated. I always know exactly what I'm doing. I'll give us a detonation. There we go. See, it's like a well-oiled machine. Flood of Insight or Singularity, or I'm kind of tempted to reroll here and just look for Blizzard or the other card. I don't think we need the Singularity. Flood of Insight is just so good. Yeah, we'll take Singularity, I guess. This is good. It's way better than that. This will reduce the amount that we need to shock enemies, which will make the shocking grasp better. And I tend to really value this upgrade. You get to draw a lot more cards. Kind of tempted to cut one of the Haunted Memories, although it's one of our mana cards. So I don't know that we can afford to do that quite yet. I think we're going to go for now. Because, again, thinking is hard. And in this, so that's what you're learning from me if you're a new player, is Vulture Fire says, don't think. Play the game, do not think. There's another term where it's like, I want to play all of the things. This is just so much work, though, that I should have done whatever first. So that's just going to kill you. Just taking enemies off the board is usually good. Take a little bit of burn damage here. Oh man, enough to actually lose recoverable health. First time that's happened so far this video. Maybe removing literally all of our survivability was a mistake. So this one's going to die to Curse, which is why I did that instead. Just go ahead and kill you. Okay, we found this. Should have played that first. Mistakes were made. I just want to take more powerful. I would really like to get either of these cards, though. I think I'm willing to reroll to try and make that happen. Arcane Focus is good enough. I'll take it. It's a very good mana card. Enraged Assault. We don't have any ways to get shield, so I would actually take either of the cards here. Ironically, they are bad. They don't go well together. But yeah, there's no way for us to get to that. Arcane Detonations. Love them. And then immediately refroze, which immediately refroze Shatter. Chez Dubé. Yeah, it's a good way to get shield. Strike damage +1, damage and shield +3. It's kind of irrelevant, but we'll take it. This upgrade, yeah. It's very tempting. Decent chance I just go with this. I like getting all that extra powerful. Although, I am going to want to have this upgraded for Bea later. And we may not get another chance, since we will have high priority upgrades, I think, in a later upgrade. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and get that out of the way now. Because like here, we're going to upgrade Arcane Surge, which is another way to get powerful. That is also arcane, and it's repeatable, and it's just kind of everything I like to do. And we'll just not let you have turn 1. Oh, I should have done that first. Feels kind of weird to me after doing so many shrines to be doing these runs where like there aren't shrines active. And enemies just like behave very differently. Look at this guy trying to do things. What a rube. Boop. Lamau, what a dummy. Thinks he's a real boss. Sorry, mate, you're a joke. In general, I tend to find that the bosses in this area are quite a bit weaker than the dragons in the plains. Which, I mean, should be pretty obvious from how hard I am clowning on this jerk. Although, part of that is like Raodan just freezes things. Like, that's what he do. Alright, this is very good, but it's not going to tip me away from Arcane Surge, which is a card I just love so much. We're just going to get all the powerful. It's going to be beautiful. Do we still need the drain? We may not need the drain life anymore. We won't regret that. Alright. Going into the ice would be good. And that also lets us fight these guys. Okay, so our two routes are basically we either go up through this side and we don't get ice. So the important thing to note here is like there are some places that can look misleading. Like if you look at these two, it may look like they're connected. If you're just quickly glancing over, they are not because you can see there's not a white dashed line. So we'd have to go through this route. This would give us access to Dead of Night, which is I think because we have a reroll token and we can force Dead of Night, which is a great way to deal with Bay later, we are going to go here. Oh wow, we actually hit that. Fortunately, this will not actually freeze. Oh, hey, I don't actually know what changed there. Because this didn't give us... Oh, we got more growth. That's what happened. Is we got growth from the delayed burst, of course. Of course, of course. Because that's one of our scaling cards. I am very clever and smart. That's just a truth. Just ice everybody up again. Donk you. Oh, that's a little underwhelming. But you can see there, like, how much frost we got out of that chilling focus, which is kind of what I was talking about previously. Goodbye. We are absolutely going to force out this Dead of Night. It's going to be great. This guy can be a jerk. The Opportunist tends to be pretty annoying. We're going to do our best to just ruin his day as much as possible, but there's only so much we can do. Fortunately, we have this evasion turn 1, which is going to mean that we can ignore a lot of it. Probably should take at least a little bit of cleanse. I may end up regretting that. Just kidding. When have I ever regretted anything I've ever done? Is there any way we can play this? Yes. Boom, we did it. Was it worth it? Yes. Never punished for the misplays. Although, we are about to take some poison damage. Oh. And that guy unfroze, which I should have thought about. Because of the, we tripped the second opportunity attack from redrawing the shatter, is what happened there. In case you missed it. Let's just freeze you. Prevents you from setting up opportunist again. Let's finish that guy off. Oh, whoops, I missed a shadow there, which also meant I missed a detonation, which is pretty unfortunate. All right, we lost a little bit of health there, but not much. I think I will take the Sanctuary at this point. That's not doing much for us. This is okay, but the stuff we have is, I think, too good to justify cutting. So we're just going to move on. And we're just going to go through some events. Ooh, take the free upgrade. Did we finally upgrade Shocking Grasp? We may have finally upgraded Shocking Grasp. Yeah, we're finally going to upgrade Shocking Grasp. Cool. We didn't have to fight them. And this fight could be a problem depending on whether or not we can get our freezes lined up. Fortunately, we have this, which lets us cheat, basically. Just gonna do that. I see no reason to let this guy have a turn any sooner than we have to, especially when he's trying to take away our power. Oh, dang it. Mark. I will just consistently forget about that part of it. Alright, unfortunately we can't stop this summon from showing up. Should have done that sooner. Gonna do that. And go ahead and do that. So this guy summons out things regularly, and he buffs them with two things. One of them is Death Spores, which is when they die, they're going to give out buffs to him. And the other one that he gives out is called Volatile or Unstable. One of them, I can never remember which one it is. I think it's Unstable, which means that when the thing dies, it can deal damage to us. We're going to play the Flood of Insight here. It is a risk. I think I'm not going to take the risk thinking about it. Let's ice you. And then let's pop you, which unfortunately does leave us exploding. But I didn't want to risk not drawing mana. And yeah, it looks like if we pretend like these were the 5 I would have drawn, I would not have gotten mana. Because this deck is absolutely low on mana right now. So yeah, there it is. There's Unstable. Which means that when we kill this, it's going to do a bunch of damage to us. Which I gotta say, mighty unfriendly. I want to freeze this guy, but I can't. This is a low enough amount of damage that I'm willing to take it. Although, yeah, here is where like not having found any of the area, not having taken any of the area effect stuff is a bit of a problem. I want to do this. I think this is too much not to play that. Even though I would really like to have frozen it or done other stuff. Okay. This ice is literally all of them. So as long as he's got a full board, he can't resummon though. So he's just going to try and attack us for a relatively pitiful amount of damage, which is actually kind of upside for us. I don't see a reason why you should get a turn. Alright, and now we are hidden, which is the Marley mechanic normally, but it means that we have a 50% chance of evading these hits. Ta-da! Need you to die still, but... Look at all that growth. Seeing this spot, I am a little worried about our ability to freeze out Veilator. I think we kill you. Oh, that one wasn't frozen. In my head I was gonna... Anyway, it's fine. I don't really want to take damage here, so... We end up down a little bit of health, but not too much. This is pretty good mana. I'll take it. That's pretty nice. Make things a little easier on us. And then for our other upgrade, honestly, that's not bad. This is very good in terms of like total boost. That means it'll go from 8 at max to 11. It's like plus 3 mana. These raw upgrades are also pretty good. I've been kind of ignoring them so far. I think I'm going to upgrade. This also goes pretty well. So like it applies a lot more weak. I think we're going to upgrade that. I think I'm still too lazy to figure out what we're cutting. And here we go. So plan here is we are going to strip their ability to get criticals on us. And we're going to hide. So it still applies weak, which is nice. All right. Not the best evade luck, but I'll take it. Okay. Trying to think if we have enough spare health to do this. Plus 4, so we're at 17, which is, yeah, so if we do this, we will lose recoverable, which we don't want to do. So we only need to play 2 cards for that to go off, which is nice. And then just ice all of them. All right. Let's ice. Let's ice you and just work on getting that. Oh, right. I would think I was playing a different card. Oh, that's not quite lethal. But still not quite enough mana. You're so close to being dead. Oh, I should have. Wasn't thinking. You're dying and doing basically an irrelevant amount of damage. You're already weak. Get more curse on you. Actually, let's go ahead and freeze you. No reason to take this damage here. Lamau get dunked on. Alright, down a tiny amount of health. Another Ritual Ruins is good. Let's just keep scaling that up. Scaling our spell damage up. Loot the backpack. Keep going. Take this fight. The question is, do we think we can do this fight? Because these guys have a ton of evasion, which is we don't get along great with. We do have some ways to manage it, though. Oh, so I should have mentioned, this is Icy Gale weather, which means that every time we play a card, every time we play a non-mana card, everyone, including us, gets 1 Frost. And then at the end of every turn, Icy Gale is going to play a card. All right, hey, we've been frozen. Turnabout is fair play, I guess. Ooh, we have been super frozen. Let's make your day considerably worse. Maybe we should have just taken out that back one, but... We now are starting to turn with fatigue, which means everything's going to cost one more. All our non-mana cards, rather. This doesn't because we still have the Spellweaver boots, which makes it cost technically like -1. 14 is the best we can do. All right, let's draw some cards. Get more value out. All right, and then we do take a little bit of poison damage there, but it's mostly fine. More frost on enemies, more shattering. I think what we're gonna get rid of once we're here when we get frozen. I think that goes, and I think that goes. Not at all confident that was correct, but that's what we're doing. Yeah, we're fine. Thing is going to die. But we are going to let it take another turn because we're going to get greedy and try and get a little bit of heal out here because we are down 10 health. Yep, there we go. Get iced. All right. Thriving Blizzard is good. Thriving Blizzard says when you play, it is free to play, but it doesn't actually do anything on play aside from reset its value. If it's in hand, we play another non-mana card while this is in hand. We play one fixed frost to everyone, and then the value on the Thriving Blizzard goes up by 1. Although this is a lot weaker if we can't upgrade it, and we aren't going to probably get a chance to upgrade it. Bracing Cold is the one I like a lot more. It is free. We get 4 mana, and then we apply 10 frost to all enemies and 10 frost to ourselves. And Elemental Staff is amazing. This is +3 status applied, which means everything we do that applies status is now going to apply 3 more status. That's on top of the 30% extra status that we get from this. So, the +3 is added after, but which is relevant to know. But yeah, overall, very, very good. So we can freeze any of these jerks out. Oh, I should have sequenced that differently because I could have played Shatter twice. So these birds are going to set us on fire, and then they're going to attack us, and they're going to try and pop the burn that they put on us. So, we said this fight could be painful. Like, taking this fight was a risk that I didn't have to take, so I shouldn't have taken it. But it seemed like fun, so I did take it. Let's just go ahead and ice you. No, let's just ice you, so you can't get whatever out. Although, I definitely should have done that slightly differently so that I could get the shield out. So I didn't have to lose health here for no reason. Okay. Unfortunately, we are going to take some damage here. But fortunately, we are going to get to freeze everybody. So I'm playing everything else out first. Oh, right. That's okay. And that's going to freeze. And we're going to draw this back, but we can't actually do anything with it because we're frozen. You can see here we do have a bit of a problem with all this evasion these guys have, because we do not have the best ways to get through it. See what we get out of that. Right. I think the plan is we are going to play out these two to just get them out of hand, and these two are the cards we're actually going to play. Alright, and there is, yeah, all of that crazy value out of Curse of the Forest. Just ending lives. Almost. So this guy dies at the end of turn. So it's this man's career that we're going to end at this time. And we're going to freeze, partially because we did whatever. Could freeze this guy. I don't think it's worth it. Nice. All right, this is going to deal with 2 of that evasion. We can follow up by doing some damage. And we don't even need to freeze. I mean, we freeze, but we don't need to freeze the enemy, I mean. Oh, that was rude. Forgot that that was a thing that that weather can do. We're not going to mess around, we're just going to end the fight. And we're going to reroll, and we're going to take Shadow Flame Focus, which is a way to get curse, to get evasion against Baelator. Another Brace Gold is also good, but I think Shadow Flame Focus is slightly better. As far as card cuts go, honestly, I don't know. Pretty happy with pretty much everything. Honestly, we may cut a Focus. We may cut a Shatter. Seems a lot worse against a single enemy. Focus is probably worse. Or we just cut nothing. We're just going to cut nothing. We could go into this without resting, but I want the ability to just eat a turn of attacks if we need to. Because there's a very good chance that it will come down to that. This is all worse than what we have. We have pretty great items. Oh, but my other note is like, Chilling Focus is now applying like 5, 6 frost, something like that. Let's see, Chilling Focus. Yeah, 7 frost, which is where I was saying, like, it isn't that good to begin with, but it gets there. All right, that's going to do very little for us, unfortunately, and we're going to just eat a bunch of damage. Like I said, just kind of need to be able to eat some damage the first couple turns, because if we draw poorly, that's just how it's going to go. I don't actually want to do that because I don't want to waste one of the easy freezes. So I think we're just going to have to eat this damage again, which is obviously not good. And this is where, like, being able to get through this purity is really important. And not being able to get rid of that purity quickly is why we had to eat all that early damage. Which does put us in a somewhat troublesome position now. Do that. But we do have one advantage, which is we now have this, which will mean that on turns, the next time that we would need whatever, but we don't have it, next time we need to freeze, we aren't holding freeze. We just have it from Visions of Frost. Like, this is obviously not a turn that we need to freeze. Let me get up more. Yeah, so really bad first 2 turns. But now that we're through them, everything's fine. And then we have another get out of jail free card over here, if we need it. But we shouldn't. This kind of thing with Bailators, like, Bailator's a lot harder if you can't afford to eat those early hits. And that is where, like, having more evasion can help, or having more ways to apply debuffs. And then we probably get to kill this turn, hopefully. That doesn't freeze. We have an evasion and we're hidden, so I'm not too worried about this. Yeah. And now we're good to go. And yeah. Pretty bad. So that final health total looks pretty bad. Like, if you look at those first 2 turns, you know, it looked like we were having huge problems. But we ended up not even needing the Frozen Flask, and we won. Like, after those first 2 turns, we were fully in command of the fight. So that is kind of Raodan in a nutshell. This is, I think, one of the most Raodan-y Raodan decks that you can Raodan Raodanly. Where you just are going to freeze things. It's going to be great. You're going to be happy. And hey, we leveled up. I don't think we've actually put any of these cards in our deck. So that's going to be episode 1 of this series. Let me know what you think. I plan to do at least one of these for each character. Maybe more than that, depending on how I'm feeling. There's more than one deck you can build for each character, even with just like these starting cards. But I want to start with like the cards that, or the decks that feel the most kind of emblematic of what this character does best. But if you are interested in seeing, so next time it's going to be Merle. So if you're interested in seeing that, tune in tomorrow, probably. I don't know. I haven't recorded it yet. I don't know how it's going to work. If you're watching this not the day this comes out, you could watch the next one right now, probably. Anyway, that's it for today. I will see you next time. Until then, toodles.